Welcome back, everybody. Today we're answering a very popular question that I get in regards to eliminating mold from growing on your charcuterie for whatever reason. Maybe you're allergic to penicillin. Maybe you don't like all the different colorful molds that are growing on your product. When I found the easiest way to get rid of mold is something called potassium sorbate. Now, you could use other products, but they're just not as effective. Potassium sorbate is actually a preservative that's used in the food industry, and it's typically added inside of food to keep bacteria, yeasts, and molds from growing. We're not going to be using it in our food because that's kind of counterproductive. We want the good beneficial bacteria to grow in our salami as it's a fermented sausage. But if you don't want the mold to grow on the outside, this is definitely something that you should see and at least consider. This is a very easy product to use. You use it at 1 ounce of potassium sorbate to 10 ounces of water, and all you do is spray or dip your salami or your charcuterie, whatever you're going to be putting it on. Right here, I'm making a buffalo salami inspired by one of our patrons, and I'm brushing it down with Penicillium nalgiavense. I want to show you what happens. So these are thoroughly coated with mold 600. I'm going to go ahead and mix up a 1 ounce to 10 ounces of water solution, and it dissolves incredibly easy. This is tap water that just came out of the faucet, so it's not warm. And I'm gonna give it a little stir, and as soon as I'm done stirring, I'm gonna go ahead and just dip my salami right into that glass. For the purpose of this demonstration, I'm gonna leave the top 25% undipped. So that still has Penicillium nalgiavense, but I want you to see how effective this is as a mold control. If you were going to do this at home, I would pull it out of that solution, turn it upside down, and dip it again, so that way 100% of it's dipped. We're going to go ahead and stick the 2 salami. So I made 2 buffalo salami. One is dipped and one isn't in my fermentation chamber, and we're going to go ahead and ferment for a day. After it fermented, we transferred to our drying chamber, and it's now been 3 days, so here's what that's going to look like. On the day we made the buffalo salami, we also made the world's spiciest salami, an all-beef salami, a Mexican salami. So we've got all kinds of stuff growing right here, so you can kind of see the mold development as it happens. But mold 600 generally starts off pretty slow and then gets really active, starts to bloom very fast. Notice where the dip line is on the right-hand salami. Both of those are the buffalo salami right there on the right. So let's go ahead and check it 10 days later, and this is what it's going to look like after 10 days of being in the drying chamber. Notice how we still have no mold growth on the area that was dipped with potassium sorbate. And if you're familiar with how chambers work, it's impossible for the spores to not spread. It's just that's the way it is, especially since my chamber's completely loaded with product. Let's take a peek at 4 weeks into the drying of this buffalo salami. And this particular salami is going to take anywhere between 7 to 8 weeks, my estimations. And as you can see, the bottom half of this salami still, even at 4 weeks, without touching it, has no mold growth on it. So now this is 6 weeks later. I'm going to show you what it looks like. The salami is almost done drying. You can see on the buffalo salami that the top 25% is completely covered with mold 600. That's the beneficial mold. But there's a definite line where the potassium sorbate starts and stops. And where it starts, there is no mold growth whatsoever. And every time I reach in to grab a salami, mold spores go flying inside that chamber. So like I said earlier, it is impossible not to spread mold every time you're messing with your salami. And as you can see, potassium sorbate has kept the mold from growing on my salami. Now, I wouldn't spray my chamber down with it because there's other living organisms that really contribute to the development of salami. But as far as mold growth, if you want to control your mold growth on your salami, dip it or spray it prior to putting it into your chamber. And there you have it, potassium sorbate. One of the most effective ways to control and eliminate mold from growing on your charcuterie. If you have any questions, leave them in the comment section below. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, and share. We'll see you in the next one.